Look at all those scraps. Hi there, I'm Literal Lion and welcome to the video where I show you how I made this hood with the face and ears on it. If you're coming from my other videos on how to make this kigu, then hi there. If maybe on the off chance that you're not, this video is part of a larger series of videos where I tell you how to make a kigu. Or at least how I make a kigu. So without further ado, let me just show you what I did here. This is a pattern for my canine ear. It's also a pattern for a duchy ear, and that includes this part, but for a canine ear, this part is not included. I'm gonna cut 4 of these out of the blue fabric, 2 pieces at a time. I'm also gonna cut a little bit away, like about this far away from the pattern to give myself a little bit of a seam allowance. I don't usually do that much of a seam allowance when I'm working with fleece since it's really hard to fray it apart, so a lot of seam allowance isn't necessary for fleece. I mean, I'm no professional, but this is just in my experience, so you should probably try your best with a seam allowance. You don't want your seams popping. Anyways, the reason I'm doing a seam allowance here is because I'm cutting 2, turning it, sewing it together and then folding it inside out, and then I'm going to be inserting something to stiffen the ear. So it needs space for that stiffening thing to go in. This is what the piece looks like all cut out. This is what the ear is going to look like. And this is approximately what it's going to look like when it's on the... Or maybe I'll bring it into like right about here. So now what I've done is I've traced my pattern onto a craft sheet of foam. It's literally name branded foamies. You can get them at Walmart, you can get them at Hobby Lobby. I think the ones at Hobby Lobby are just a little bit thicker. I'm pretty sure this is a Hobby Lobby sheet. The Walmart ones are quite thin, but it's about that thick. It's very flexible. You've probably used them before. So I'm gonna cut, hopefully I'll be able to cut both of them out of this one sheet. These are gonna be flush with the pattern so that they can fit inside of the fabric sleeves. Oh, it looks like I can just barely fit it on there. It's okay if, especially along the bottom, if it doesn't exactly line up. That's not too big of a deal. If there's like a little bit of a dip in the bottom, that's not too big of a deal since it'll be underneath fabric sleeves. So now I'm going to sew the fabric of the ear together. I'm going to flip these so that it's right sides together and sew right along this edge and leave the bottom open. Now that it's sewn together, it looks something like this, and we're going to put this inside. As you can see, it's quite a snug fit. It doesn't quite fit in there. It doesn't lay completely flat, and that's kind of what I want. That way, that I know it stays taut inside. I don't want this part here sticking out, so I'm just going to cut that off. So here's the 2 ear pieces, all stuffed with their foamy and cut out and ready to be shaped. But there's this pretty teal color that kind of is on the inside of the ear. So for that, I'm going to break out the hot glue gun and I'm going to add it to straight to these ears. I cut the teal pieces into this shape because it looks kind of cute. I think it looks kind of cute. I'm going to come in with the glue gun and I'm going to glue around this edge. Pro tip, do not glue about this far from the edge. Do not glue here because the sewing needle does not go through hot glue very well. I've broken many trying to get through a bunch of hot glue. Maybe a thin layer it will slide through, but for ease, I do not glue this close to the edge because this part will be sewn into the hood. I'm also going to leave these a little bit flappy to give it just a really exciting furry effect. If you accidentally get glue on the outside on the part that's supposed to be showing, do not try to peel it off. Wait for it to dry and then peel it off. You'll thank me. See, I waited for it to dry before I peeled it off and it's all better. Now that they're firmly on there and the hot glue is out of the way, I'm gonna start shaping them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take both of them and bring them into about here. And this is about what the shape of the ear is gonna be. On this character, the ear kind of flares out a little, so I'm gonna bend this backwards. There's nothing to really hold it in place, so I could heat it, but I don't want to damage the fleece. But the foam underneath would hold that shape, but I don't want that. I could take the foam out and heat it, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to bend it this way and then instruct the owner of this Kigu to do that if they want that look, but otherwise they can bend it back, but it will stay like that if you just bend it that way. I'm going to cut the hood and sew. First I'm going to hand sew this together very loosely without the white foam showing, and then I'm going to cut the hood open and then sew this in to the hood like this. This is what it looks like stitched together. As you can see, I blanket stitched through all the layers, including the foamy, and it kind of closed up so you can't see the details, but I stitched through all the layers. And I'm going to be sewing this, hand sewing it, because it would be too difficult to machine sew. I mean, I could try it, but I don't think it'll work. But since it's not hot glued all the way to the edge, it just might. Nah, this is too many layers. I'm gonna hand stitch this into the hood. Okay, so getting these ears on the hood symmetrically and perfectly is a very tricky process. From doing this a billion jillion times, I know that it's going to go approximately here, but I'm definitely going to put the hood on perhaps that head over there. That head's too small, but I understand the head, so it's gonna take a little bit of finagling, but I'm gonna get the ear on the way that it needs to be on. And then once it's on, or then once I've decided where it's gonna go, then I'm going to, usually I chalk it with a chalk color that stands out against white, but I have lost my chalk as previously stated, but I'll figure something out. This is what I decided to cut, and I'm going to make it symmetrical on the other side. This is what it looks like pinned on. As you can see, I've got the pins. These are so thick that I just stick them straight through, and now I'm going to hand sew this up with just a ginormous blanket stitch, and I'll probably go back the other way so that it's extra tight. Also, I'm doubling up the thread so that it's extra secure. This is what it looks like sewn together. This is a blanket stitch and then gone back over again with a blanket stitch so that it's extra strong. Here's what it looks like on the hood. I'm gonna create the eyes for this hood out of these two colors of felt. The eyes for this character are basically two black and teal ovals. I'm gonna try to cut them out right now. So I start by cutting out two ovals, and then I cut another oval out of teal. Then I cut the teal oval so that it fits within the black oval. Then I cut off the top of the teal like this. And then I cut out the pupil. Actually, I didn't like them, so I made them a little smaller and I made the slant a little less intense. After that, I made the eyebrows, which I just cut a little piece off of here and then shaped them together. The character also has little spots on the eyebrows, which I cut out of regular fleece instead of this felt stuff. Next, I cut out the little muzzle part, then the nose. I add a tongue for a little extra cuteness. Then I add the mouth. Adding it all to the hood looks a little something like this. Now, I would embroider all of this on, but right now that's a little bit above my pay grade, so I'm gonna get out the hot glue gun. I filmed myself gluing this all on, but it got a little messed up, so this is what it looks like all glued on. I need to do some finishing. I need to, get the edges down really well. It's safe to wash and everything, even though it's glue. It's good, it's good. Everything's good. See, nothing comes off. So I finished detailing it. This black felt is pretty contagious, so it gets everywhere, especially when you go like that. It just sort of bleeds off onto the thing for some reason. But I think it looks pretty good, and that's the finished face. Well, that's all I got for now. I hope that you got something out of my video. Please subscribe to my channel. I plan to put up a whole bunch of new videos. I've only got like 20 or so subscribers right now, so it really makes me excited when someone subscribes. Ella really wants you to subscribe, so you should probably at least do it for her. I mean, she's the real star. Let's get real here. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my content. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!